young Imogen over there, who's training in Javelin, discus, HEMA, soccer. So she's a great example of a kid in under 15, where we're not overly focused on just one thing, but rather everything, which obviously helps with her development as an athlete long term, being able to do all things well all around, and then one day she can pick one discipline and see what's next. So that's gonna be the second part, and in the third part I would like to just open conversation and talk about common Javelin technical issues, or I wouldn't call it issues, that's probably not the right word. Just challenges we deal with during Javelin throwing. All right, so first about myself, born and raised in Czech Republic, as you can probably hear with my Czech English. I came from the small town known for two things. One is Skoda Auto, that's where everything started, and second is hometown of Jan Železný, the world record holder in Javelin throw, which left a lot of knowledge in our club, and I'm very fortunate to grow up around people who knew him, so always draw a lot of experience and information from that. I moved to Australia in 2012, mainly just to learn English, and then I just loved it too much here and I stayed, which was great. And yeah, two-time Paralympic medalist, as Mark said. First medal in Tokyo 2020 through 66 meter 29, which was my personal best and world record in the class. Amazing experience. Then Paris 2024, bronze. I cried 2 days after that. Typical athlete, not happy. And yeah, then throw enthusiast, that's what I probably would call myself. I love throws too much. As I said to a few people, anytime I walk into Brisbane Throw Centre, it's like a Disneyland for throwers. So very fortunate to have such a place. And hopefully we can get more of them around Australia, in Melbourne and other places as well. Alrighty, let's get into the good stuff. What is Javelin throwing? For me, I like to think about it in terms of physics and keep it very simple. It's all about leverages, transferring energy, and storing energy. I always imagine athletes as a bunch of rubber bands and the ways to store energy. So if we look at this example, that's exactly what Javelin throw is. You got double-legged support, you got the upper body, which obviously releases the javelin, and then the big lever through the shoulder. So I like to think about it as a catapult, and that's one of the things I always describe it to kids, how they can think about it, because I think there is a big misconception about throwing, that it all comes from arm. That's not necessarily the thing. Other way I look at it is, if you just grab a finger, you do that. It moves fairly fast, but it's all muscle-generated energy. If I do this, I store energy, I release it. It's a slingshot, and that's exactly what Javelin throw is. So again, as many ways you can explain to kids and people who throw javelin or discus or wherever it is, and you can get them to understand what is it really about, then most likely they will figure it out on their own, and you don't have to cue every single movement, because if we cue every single movement, then it's gonna be hyper-focused on one thing. They do it good, but not necessarily they have the understanding what is it actually about. So yeah, also I would suggest ChatGPT, for example. Great to come up with different ways on how to talk about javelin throwing or discus throwing, wherever throws you do. Yeah, I think it's really important just with the younger kids to talk a lot about just what it is. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? And then as we progress, slowly start chipping away on the technical things. So yeah, last thing, with the catapult, you just put the wheels on it, you roll it down, put the handbrake, boom, slams. There is your javelin throw. Other things, we can compare it to different things around us. I put a few pictures up, like a dog thrower thingy right there. Again, same principle, right? If you have a dog and you ever threw it, you can't bash it and bully it around. It's not gonna go anywhere. So again, it's about the timing, storing the energy in the stick and releasing it, propelling it really far. And again, it's the same thing with the javelin, creating lever, propelling it. It's not that. Same thing with football. Where is the movement coming from? It's not happening here. It's all coming from the body. It comes from the hip. So again, we're using big lever through the hip. Body leads the movement, and the leg just swings. It's not isolated movement. It's a whole body movement. Cricket, again, same thing. Body led, arm just follows. Yeah. Learning from the best. Here we go. Jan Železný, world record 98.48. For me, this is poetry in motion. If we look at it, rhythmic. It's all about rhythm. Nice and relaxed. And everything just happens. It doesn't look like a lot of effort, but it just goes very long way. And that's obviously the key to throwing, to be able to stay loose, stay relaxed, and let the physics do the work. Obviously, it's backed with a lot of preparation. Body needs to be ready for it. You need to be strong, you need to be explosive, you need to be athletic. And then you get a guy like that. Consistency over complexity, big one. Patience and discipline. I always like to compare it to samurais because that's for me an example of training. Very down to structure and just relying on basics and doing them over and over again. I say we can get lost in coming up with many different ways on how to do things, but actually if we focus on the real basic and you just do them until it's boring, then eventually you're gonna be really good at it. And it's, if we're trying to master something, not necessarily it's gonna be all the time entertaining and amazing, but so all I'm trying to say, don't try to reinvent the wheel, like stick to what works and do it properly. Creating good habits, again, that's the development part, where if we understand the mechanics really well, we do the groundwork, then later on it will show. So that's why the bamboo picture, like, as you know, the roots take time to grow and then suddenly it shoots. So I like to think about it with the throws as well. If you do the groundwork, you do it properly, then eventually you will see the results. Distance chasing kills development. That's me personally what I think, because I see a lot of coaches, a lot of parents with a tape measure all the time out on the field. And if you talk to anyone who knows me, they know that I hate tape measure. I don't like to measure throws. There is time and place to do it, like when it's really close to competition and you want to know where you're at. But throughout the preparation, the whole year, I wouldn't want to see the tape measure, because then we are focused on something external, something what's on out there, rather than being present here in our body and actually focusing on what's going on. Good example of that is me coming from Czech Republic, where you get cold winters, you get snow. You can't throw outside, so you have to improvise, you throw into nets. And I love throwing into nets. Why do I love it? Because you don't see where they go. You can't see the distance. And then it's like meditation. You in your own body, and you feeling the throw, you know exactly what's going on. You use camera, then you can be technical in those parts. That's a really good time to get technical and think about what is happening in the throw, and just get in sync with the body, without the feedback of like, oh, it didn't go far enough, it didn't go there. I think that's just not helpful being always there. So that connects with other things, as I mentioned, meditation and stuff. I'm big on that because it all happens here. So if we have a great body, great vessel, and the pilot is not necessarily in tuned in how to control it, how to be in peace, then you're gonna come into competition and it's gonna become, just competing with muscle and power rather than the mastery, finesse, and just leaning onto physics, knowing that if I land into the right positions and I'm chilled, I just let the physics do the work, then I get the reward, and that's the far throw. And then obviously step at a time. You don't want to overload people with many different things at once. So I would say, look at the athlete, pick probably the biggest thing which sticks out, and focus on that first, and just focus on it. Do it over again until it sinks in. And then once the thing is good, what's next? What's the other next thing which sticks out the most? Again, focus on that. And obviously having the bigger picture, you can't just get locked into technical thing and then completely get away from the fact that we got domestic season coming up and they need to compete. Like at some point you need to start focusing on the competition itself and the kids having some confidence to go and compete rather than just being locked into technicalities. Foundation of the delivery. I picked those things because that's usually a lot of things we talk about. Arms positioning. Starting with the right arm, obviously basics. You always want to be above your right shoulder, and left arm very often dictates the initiation of the throw. If we rushing the left arm, then automatically, as you can see, we connect it. So the throw gonna start too early. So the ability of setting up the left arm and leaving it as long you can till the block comes, and then let the throw come, is a really big one. Also, the left arm will show you and dictate the angles. Yeah? If we hold it too up, then my spine gonna tip back, and we're gonna aim for the sky. All of this also happens when we go into the delivery of the javelin in the transition. So if we're running in with transition, and a lot of people go withdraw, and they already lean back. From there, you set up the throw and you're already leaning back, and very likely you're not gonna fix it at the end. So transitioning, keeping the right angle right from there, and just, I say to athletes, the way you start your crossovers, that's the way you need to finish it. So if we already set up and we're training crossovers, this is my starting position, well, this is my finishing position as well. I don't need to re-engineer the throw at the end. I just rely on this, good, feels good, yep. Do I feel like I can throw from this? Yeah, I do. All right, great. Run, rhythm, block, let the throw happen. So angles, arm positioning, spy angles, and rhythm. If we have jittery rhythm, again, you're setting up the throw to fail. If the rhythm is not right, then most likely the throw is gonna be not timed very well at the end. So the importance of exercising to just focus on rhythm, just running and being in the same rhythm whole time, very important. Javelin angles, I sort of covered. Block leg and action leg, again, very big thing. As we seen at the start with the catapult example, you need to have really strong left leg and ability to block in order to receive the ground, let the energy come through the body into the javelin and put it through the implement. And that comes, for some people naturally it comes very fast, for some you have to work on it for quite some time, but it's an acquired thing. Blocking leg doesn't happen over a short period of time. I think you just have to chip away on it for quite some time. There are good drills which we can also go through, and Imogen gonna throw in after that. Grant Ward gave me one of the good drills which I like up on the hill. We can look at it as well. And then the action leg, which is the right leg for the right-handed thrower, which is one of my favorite things, as Lucas knows over there. Again, coming from my hometown, growing up around people who knew Javelin, he spent ridiculous amount of time on right leg action. There would be drills forever on just being active from the right. Why? I saw recently on Instagram, that's another thing which we can talk about, Instagram coaches, Americans especially, talking about right leg and calling it passive dead leg. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, everything starts with the right leg. Same when I listened to Klaus, German biomech coach Chopra, now Keshawn Walcott. The way you set up the throw comes all from here. So he teaches a lot landing on the ball of the foot, which automatically sends the body forward. If you land flat-footed, you rigid, most likely is going to throw you to the side or somewhere else. So the right leg action, I've been always taught to land, and as soon as the foot touches the ground, you flip the ankle. That's how I was taught. Doesn't work for everybody. Some people like to think about their hip shooting, wherever it is, but essentially that's what we're trying to achieve. By the time the left leg lands on the ground, you want your right hip to be finished, done. And that's what Javelin does amazingly, because if you see it in his throws and you slow it down, he is so efficient and so lightning fast with his right leg. As soon as it touches the ground, flips, and then he lands. So everything just gets in there and you get that nice physics going. So right leg, big one. Would you teach it to young kids and put huge emphasis on it? Probably not at the start, but you can start with at least being on the ball of the foot. So then automatically, if they move forward, that it's sending them forward. It doesn't send them anywhere else. We don't want a movement left to right. Like, you want to channel all the energy that way. As I said, perfect. One direction, forward. We're throwing javelin forward as far we can, so therefore all the vectors, all the energy needs to go that way. Angles, again, and aim. I think very important. You need to have something in the distance you're aiming at. Like, it's essentially spear. So in the past you would hunt, you need to aim in order to hit the animal. Same thing with the javelin. Like, we want to throw at the end of the track over there, I need to aim at something, and then my eye is going to dictate the angle of it. If my eyes go up in the air, then most likely the rest of the body will follow the eyes. It's like when you're driving, you look to the left and you're trying to stay going one direction. If you look to the side, you're automatically steering the car to the left or to the right. So this is no different, yeah? Eyes are very important, and it will dictate body positioning. Wave, whip, and catapult. Again, back to catapult, we talked about it enough. Other way to think about it is wave. Again, it happens like the whip. Boom. Starts, it's a wave, action, and sling at the end. And again, the relaxed expression. It's if we not relaxed, but it's a tricky thing to talk about as well. You don't want to be like a noodle, right? Like, something needs to work, something needs to be relaxed. So what I like to talk about is with the arm, because usually if you tell people to relax, then they relax and they can't keep the arm up. So how do we stay relaxed and keep the arm up? I spoke with many throwers, and we all agree that the way to keep the arm up is usually you use your muscle around scapula. So if you don't want to contract it hard, you don't want to squeeze it because then it's a force, it's a tension, but you want to be aware of where my arm is sitting at, what's holding it up. And if you think about it, it's that. Later on, I would like you to guys try just a rubber band, and you can try it on your own. Without any focus, you pull on the band. Let's see. You activate the scap, you hold the shoulder, then you can pull it out of the wall. Like you get so much more out of it. And then this part can be loose and slingy. Yeah. So that's that. And that's it. That's just simply the way I think about Jeff in few words, few slides, nothing too extreme. And let's go to see Imogen do her warm-up before competition. Again, nothing difficult. She's just gonna do a few athletic drills, few stretches, few throws, not too many. 4 throws from run-up, Dansky. Discus, shot put. We got standard warm-up. Like, again, we're dealing with kids, so you wanna keep it quite general, not super specific yet. As we get older, we get a bit tighter and stuff, then different sort of activation and more specific activation, I think it's appropriate. But for now, it's more playful and basic. After Imogen warms up, I would like to go through few throws just from standing, because as you will see in her case, very early days, still very raw. She gets quite tight when she runs. So we'll do a fair bit of work on rhythm over the winter. Also, we haven't really worked yet on the amount of steps into the run-up, because I think it's just not comprehensible. Yeah? Like, it's already enough to focus on running down with the javelin, withdrawing and throwing. And then if we're counting steps, we're just not there yet. So that's something for the winter. And the way we're gonna do it most likely is I like to do a lot of run-ups, withdraws across, 50 meters, and just have kids or athletes to think about the rhythm of the steps. Usually you got 8, 10, someone does 12 running in. And if we do it outside of the throwing and we do it regularly, then it becomes sort of a song in the head. So it's not counting anymore. After a while, it becomes just a pam, 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 pam. But what you're achieving is you're achieving consistency across runway, and the same thing is with crossovers. With crossovers, it'd be different. Like, you don't want to count every crossover because it's happening fast. So I usually go left leg counts, 1, 2, 3, boom, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Depends on the athlete. The first drill we will do with Imogen will be the impulse stride. I like to use 2 cones and work on starting with left foot on the cone or ball, wherever it is, and getting the right leg on the second one, just to stimulate it. Because you will see with a lot of athletes, they go into the throw, these legs become very short, and then you see the flight of the javelin often coming out like that. Yeah? And very often is dictated by the length of the right leg. So if the right leg is short, then likely we get ahead with the body, and the javelin goes this way. The moment this thing is long, I'm getting too enthusiastic. The minute it's longer, you get with the legs in front of the javelin, you hang on the javelin, and you put it all through. So that's why we do it.
We use this gravy too, like sort of cross the river type stuff.
Yeah. Exactly like that. Like on the track, usually you can use the lanes. So we like to do the lanes drill, where you use every lane. You always set up on the line. You need to land past the next one. Reset, and again. Reset, and again. So it's a good drill to train the impulse. But again, while we're doing those things, you don't want to compromise the rest of the thing. So if we're focusing on the drill, yes, we're trying to get the distance, but then we don't want to lean back or lose the other components. So in the way, always keep the athletes honest in what they're doing. Like, we're doing it, but we're doing it properly. Yeah, same thing. If you go, you pick up your jeffs, you're going back and you're throwing them, then throw them properly. Still use the mechanics. Don't just do it because you want to. Yeah? Still think about the chain, be loose. Always reinforcing the basics and the mechanics of it. Where is Imogen putting spikes on? While Imogen is coming, any questions, any technicalities you wanna guys talk about? Anything common which, I don't know, happens in your training session with the javelin throwing?
So when we come here for jab training,
yep.
This is the second time this year, there's this lovely wall that you can throw balls at.
Yep.
When you don't have a lovely wall that you can throw balls at, what would you recommend?
Do you have a cage? Like hammer cage? Yeah? Throw just into the cage, that's it. It's an alternative. Like, you don't get the sound feedback, which everyone loves, like the harder it sounds, like, oh, must have been good throw. But again, yeah, like, you focus more on the body. So if the net is receiving the throws, it's probably a good thing, yeah, because we in the body and we're focusing on what's happening here rather than what's out there. Yeah? So even that the wall is great, and then sometimes you get really loose and you hear the nice feedback of the wall, which is satisfying. Sometimes the net helps with that, just to mitigate, again, the focus on external things, and we more locked into the body. Yeah.
What about the jab balls themselves?
The
ones that I've bought have all died, so now I'm using 500-gram shot puts.
Yeah, I would be careful with the weights. Yeah, I would be careful with the weights, because it's very different feel compared to javelin. Like, the weight is distributed differently, and if you have a girl throwing 600-gram jeff, I would go probably 300-gram or less, because you're just not strong enough. Yeah.
Shot puts come in half kilo, 1 kilo, 1.5 kilos, so you've got a choice.
No, there is many you can get. Like, there, if you look up weighted balls for baseball throwers, you can get balls from 150 grams upwards. Yeah, yeah, that's 700. Yeah. So, Lucas, maybe we can show a few balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 300?
Yeah.
It's a 200?
Yeah.
500?
Yeah, just pass these ones around, have a look at them. Like, these are perfect. Yeah.
Will they survive though?
We've got 50
Sorry?
increments up to
Part of the problem is
1.2
I give
kilos.
the balls to young boys, and they go and throw them against the brick wall, and they die.
These are, we throw against the wall every day.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's sort of.
Yeah. Again, brick wall, like, logically, it's gonna have sharp edges.
Playing against the brick wall, it's just
Yeah.
Young boys, ball.
Yeah. Yeah. I would be more interested in how heavy the ball is, because I think that's a big one. Yeah. Like, we throw the implement, which is 600, 700, 800 grams, and then we want to match it with the ball, but the ball just feels different, and very often you just don't have the strength yet enough to match the weight of the ball with the javelin. And what happens then is that people tighten up, and they just trying to overpower the ball rather than staying loose. So if we have a
I often think too that with heavy balls, people think, oh, it feels better after a long
Yeah.
pull, but it's false. Like,
Yeah.
because people reach away their left side, they get this big stretch. But when you've got an 800-gram ball versus a 2 kilo shot put,
Yeah.
you can't replicate the feel. So you're better off trying to replicate the feel with, say, a 600-gram ball than a
Yeah.
1.5 or 2 or whatever.
It's the same distance you a 3 kilo discus just isn't useful, except for very special cases.
Because again, what Lucas described exactly, like it's a good feeling, but you're creating fake feeling. Like it's all here, so you're creating the feel of pool, but then you might as well be seated. Like it's not connected. Yeah? We wanna feel the ball and the pool from hitting the ground and letting the forces come through us, rather than being involved here and muscling the ball. Yeah. So that's why if you can throw balls which are lighter, and I don't feel like I have to try really hard to throw it far, then that helps because you're not bullying it, and you can just be loose and play around with the ball, let it snap. Imogen, we good? Let's go for it. I got your favorite Jeffs for you. Do you want to do a few just stretches with the Jeff as well? The other thing I want even you guys to try, if you're willing to, is whenever you get a young thrower, old thrower, whatever, like we all tend to bully the javelin, same as what I was talking with the balls. So the issue is the feeling for the javelin. We're trying to develop the ability to just let it slink and throw it nice and clean, rather than arming it out. If you grab one of those sticks, which you can get from Bunnings, which I use quite a bit, $10, you get 10 of them. And the reason why I use them is you just can't arm them. You can't bully this around. If you try to bully it around, it will end up 5 meters in front of you. If you really lean into the mechanics and you just use your body and legs to get onto the stick, it will reward you. It will fly incredibly far. It's simple, it's cheap. You don't need to over cue it, because all you should cue with these things is throw it clean, figure it out, and give a little advice. If you use your body, most likely it's gonna happen. If you use your legs, it's gonna happen. And then just let the thrower to figure it out. It's not difficult on the body, it's like 80 grams. The only time when it can go wrong is if they start arming them and bashing them hard. Yeah? Then probably elbow gonna start screaming, but that's gonna happen with anything. So just being playful around with things like that, going up and down the field and figuring out how to throw it clean, you're gonna really in tune your feel for the implement, and then transfer it into the javelin. So I think these things are brilliant. All right, shall we? So same thing, we're just gonna work on the nice impulse stride, 3 throws, then we do a few crossovers. Boom. Good start, feeling good, eh? Nice. Well done. I feel like we need a people to watch at our sessions, and then it goes great. It was awesome. Just go pick them up. Yeah, this was good. What I wanted to say, think I'm very guilty of as well, and we all are. Feedback on every throw, not a good thing. Yeah, people get overwhelmed. Like, obviously, I love javelin. I'm enthusiastic about it, and you wanna give the athlete the best you can. But then, if you're giving feedback on every single throw, it gets hectic and overloaded. So, the ability to retain, get the 3 throws, and then maybe say, okay, we need to improve this and that. Lift your arm up or whatever it is. Yeah, just retain from overload of feedback and information. Let's just go for a few crossovers. Yeah. Just nice and easy. Nice. Where's the eyes at? Too high up. Yeah. How about you pick one of the trees there? like nice and in the middle. Yeah. And again, yeah, we working on the rhythm. So nice rhythm, nice crossovers, good throw. Boom, well done. Nice one, good throwing. All right. What we can see with Imogen, got really good feel for Javelin. Hits them nice and clean, awesome. Eh? What we can work on long term is she gets quite tense and it's long legs, so just loosening it up. Again, being rhythmical, lifting the legs a bit off the ground, things like that. She drops her arm quite a bit, but in the same time, she leans back and then it gets over the shoulder. So all those little things over the time, just slowly address it, but not overly be intense about it. That's what I'm just trying to avoid. Let's do one more set of these. Don't bully them. Relax. And then we can do 4 just little run-ups and leave it at that. Yep. So Imogen competing in not tomorrow, the day after. So this is basically last session just to get in touch with the Javelin. See it's all there, like volume is not necessary. That's definitely not what we want before competition. So it's just to consolidate the work she's been doing. As you can see, throws are decent. No need to do much more. Few run-ups, probably 4 of them, same like the competition, and leave it at that. Go home. Awesome. Any questions in the meantime while she's picking up?
What's that run-up like compared to a comp run-up?
The comp run-up she will do now, so you can see it. Yeah. It's a bit of a still development going on. So Imogen's got mark, which I had to measure. She didn't want to measure because at our track, there is a bench. Yep. Yeah. So she was like, bench, boom, mark. I'm like, okay, do we have that bench in Brisbane? Probably not. So she measured it out the last session we did, hopefully remembers. And that sets up the length of the run-up, yeah.
So, but that was what, 4 steps or something?
I don't count them yet with her, yeah. Just free flow, because as you can see, if I get it to count, it's gonna become extra thing she doesn't need right now. It's not ideal, but very fresh, very early days. Run up. Remember what's the length of it? Did you measure it on the last? Yep. All right. Measure it out. Let's do it. Yeah, might as well. Yeah. Because we got the mat here. Yeah. I think a lot of it is there, and then sometimes she loses the tip. Wrist. Yeah, I don't know how I would go about the wristing, because if it's a consistent thing over a long time, maybe it's worth talking about different grip. But cueing, being tied up with the wrist, then everything else tightens up. So I don't know if I would want to specifically address that. Oh, we out. Yeah. With the grips again, you got 3 different grips. I think a lot of A lot of kits automatically start with the American grip, which is nice, but I think you need a lot of mobility and flexibility to get into that. I prefer personally the Finnish grip, which is there, and then it becomes a bit more accessible to put it above the arm and keep it there. The bunny ears, that's something I don't really like, but people use it. Again, probably there'll be throwers it works for, but if we're talking elite javelin throwers, I haven't really seen anyone throw it at the world stage, big competitions. If there is one, it's an outlier, but yeah. Sorry? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a minority, yeah. I just feel like with bunny ears, there is not much grip on that, yeah? And it's kind of awkward.
The last training session earlier in the year, the point was to try and spin a jab. It's going to be hard to do that with bunny.
Yeah. All good? Have a just run through the first time without throwing, just see how it feels, nice and loose. Good ski. Have a throw, but alrighty, nice. One thing you can see right from the hop, yeah, setting up the throw and javelin already is pointing up. Most likely that's gonna set me for withdrawing and leaving the arm down. So the way you set up the throw off the back, first of all, the javelin position, if I'm here or even exaggerate and withdraw, most likely I'm gonna end up here. If it's there, it's gonna go down. Second thing is the rhythm. Again, if we don't have the rhythm through the leading steps, then it's gonna be hard to catch rhythm into crossovers. And same thing with the transition. If you're not in rhythm, it's gonna get awkward in the transition. We're gonna cause whole heaps of mischief, and the delivery not gonna be what we want it to be. How was that?
A bit too much at the end.
Okay. So what are we focusing on? What? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Just keep it in the legs and aim at the target. Yeah. Boom. Bit better? Awesome. All right. Have a little break and then go one more. And we can leave it at that. Yeah. Unless you want a couple more. All right.
Michael, would you ever get an athlete like this to throw just her crossover throw, seeing as though it was going a similar distance to her full run-up?
Say again?
Would you ever get an athlete like this
Yeah.
to throw just her crossover throw as one of her throws in comp?
Look, it depends. Like I'm quite easy about it. It usually comes down to, like if I strictly get her to do crossovers, she doesn't like that. She's not gonna be happy. Yeah. And going into competition, forcing her to do something she's not happy with to do, I rather do her run up. Yep, it's not optimal, but she's in good mindset. So I would probably choose that over rigidity and yeah, being the one with the whip. Like I don't like that. So yes, like if you're talking technicality, probably better crossover, but mentally, if she's not there, then it's not gonna work out. Yeah. Okay. Feel like try a bit hard with that one. Yeah. Saw your face. Sometimes you can tell from the face. You could tell it was this. Yeah. And that's obviously set up to be tight at the end and throw hard. And you could tell that, you can see it on the flight. Like Javelin is good with giving you feedback every time. Every throw, the javelin gives you feedback. Flies to the left, flies to the right, you know what's happening. If it flies to the left, we're initiating the throw too soon, pulling left arm open, then everything goes around, ends up on that side. Ending up on the right, you're most likely gonna be stepping left leg in front of the right, hip doesn't go through and you end up throwing there. So again, basics, like the javelin giving you its own feedback. It will punish you as well. If you bully it, it will bully you back. And that comes down to choosing the right javelins. Because people ask, like, you see the beautiful javelins for $1,000, Nemets, Nordics, like, oh, it must be flying further. But that's not necessarily the thing, because if we have a young, unexperienced thrower who's stiffening up and bullying them, if the body is stiff and then you choose the stiff javelin, something gonna break. Like the body is not gonna like it. It's gonna the force is gonna go back into you and something gonna start hurting. So that's why softer javelins are definitely better. The more precise and technical and the mastery is there, and the thrower becomes loose and soft, then you can pick the hard javelin. So hard, soft, soft, hard. That's how I sort of think about it as well. How many more are we having? Okay, let's do it.
Just out of curiosity,
Yeah.
the angle that the javelin lands,
Yeah.
feedback point where how it's thrown from the...
Well, definitely will be. If you throw it low, it's gonna be like that, right?
Yeah.
If you sky it, most likely it's gonna tip and then fall, and it's this way.
So the optimum would be like...
Optimal is 39 degrees probably.
And when it lands, it'd be 39 degrees.
Well, I would judge it more by flight, not how it lands, because sometimes maybe you get wind or something and slightly changes the way of how it lands. But you can always see it how it flies. Like if there is a bit of this or that, like it just mimics what the body does. Yeah? So if the forces are not applied from there to there straight through, like if we have a massive tube, we want to channel all the forces through the tube, then the flight's going to be nice. And you're going to see a dot in front of you.
Sometimes from a coach, you're watching their feet and you're looking at hips and you're not seeing the flight.
Yeah.
You'll turn before you done.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It's definitely better to have the feedback of the flight. Yeah. If you can't see, then it's like, yeah. All right. Happy? All right. We don't need that many more. Maybe one, and just leave it at that. All right, we're gonna get one more throw, and then who wants to try with the rubber band? Just a bit of a skep control and see what's the difference. And then I would like some people try a bit of a bamboo as well, just to see on their own skin what it feels like to throw just stick. Yeah, that was bullish. Yeah. Try a bit too hard. Yeah. You can see it. The last one, even Imogen said it. She's very receptive to what she does, which is amazing. Like sometimes she gives me feedback, and I'm like, wow. So that's good. She called it herself. Try a bit too hard. Everything stiffened up, and then it's not optimal. It doesn't fly as clean, and obviously the distance is significant with the differences. We are almost at 10 o'clock, so gonna have to cut it quite short. Anyone wants to get a little feel on the rubber band just to see how the skep is functioning there? Again, yeah, loose, then that, different. Bamboo, who would like to try? Yeah, let's try.
What height does the rubber band be?
Say again?
What height does the rubber band be?
The height above the shoulder.
So the red one's the only one that's correct there.
Red one is probably too high, So you want to get as close to,
So you actually want just above shoulder.
yeah,
So nose hole,
yeah, here. Anything below, no good. Anything above,
head hole, below the top of the head, and
between top of the head and chin, I would say. Yeah, yeah, sweet spot. Because it's a huge difference pulling from here, pulling from there.
because I don't have anything else to tie.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I'll
It's interesting.
Yeah. Looks like you threw before. Yeah, yeah. Just fly. Just try to get it fly clean. Yeah, yeah. Like I haven't threw it. I haven't threw it in a while, but where's the heavy tip? Yeah. Just try to throw it. Yeah, you see? Not great. Like not a good fly. Bullied it. Nice. Well done. Yeah, that's a great feedback. Yeah, yeah. Nice, nice. Mark done it before. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So you can see it's all there, and then just the energy dissipates and goes nowhere. All right, guys. I think I will leave it at that. Thank you, everybody, for coming.